Yeah, I think everything happened really fast. Within the last month, we played Minnesota United, and Eric Williamson's college roommate is Dane St. Clair, and we got dinner after the game, right after the game that Saturday night. And we just kind of talked about the Canadian national team. I was just asking how his experience was at the World Cup, and then I let him know that my mom's 100% Canadian, and I would probably be eligible to play for Canada, and then he kind of put me in Dane St. Clair kind of put me in contact with Canada's representatives, and then from there it just happened really fast. Yeah, I mean, it's looking back 2 years ago, I none of this would have been like imaginable. Happened really fast, but yeah, I'm really excited for the Gold Cup.
How's everything going with the team, and what are your thoughts on tomorrow's match against Chicago?
Yeah, I mean, we're going into a stretch of games where the defense, as a team, as a whole, it's really good. It's 3 shutouts in a row. After that Kansas City game, I think we all really kind of looked, deep inside and realized that it wasn't good enough from not just the back line, but the whole team in terms of our press and how we defend. But going into the Chicago game, they're a team that has players like Alvin Kamara, who's up there and with 100 and something goals in terms of MLS rankings and goals. So they're always just going to be, a dangerous team when you have someone lethal like that up top.
Next questions.
Zach, this opportunity with Canada, obviously, is a chance to play on the international level for you for the first time in your professional career. What does that mean to you, especially given that in a couple of years, there's going to be a World Cup happening in North America?
Yeah, first off, it's a great opportunity for me, and like I said, but and looking back a year ago, I never would have thought something like this was possible, just given my way on the depth chart and my playing time for the Timbers at the time. And it's just another challenge, and it's another, way to test my abilities, on an international stage, to showcase what I can do on an international stage. And people were really puzzled when they heard about Canada even being an option. But my mom is literally 100% Canadian. You don't really get much more Canadian than her. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to go to the Gold Cup. I remember Eric getting called in 2 years ago when he won it with the US, and it was just really cool being able to watch him and support him through that journey. But yeah.
And your mom, being from Canada, did you guys travel up there much at all when you were a kid? And what was that experience like?
Yeah, so I have two younger twin sisters. They were actually born in Canada. I was born in LA, but identical twins. My mom's whole side of the family still lives up there, and it was just kind of my parents in LA. So they were born in Canada just to get some extra help from my parent or my mom's side of the family, in terms of her sisters and her mom. But yeah, I went up there every Christmas growing up, like up until I went to college. So Edmonton, my mom's from Vancouver Island in BC, British Columbia, but she went to high school there, but college and 20s were spent in Edmonton, Alberta, and they kind of all relocated over there. So big Wayne Gretzky and Edmonton Oilers fan. A lot of people don't know I watch hockey too, but yeah. There's more connection than people would think just looking at me.
What was that conversation like with your mom?
With my mom, yeah, she's a little dramatic, so crying and screaming and instantly wanted to go to Facebook. I said, you can't post anything on Facebook yet. I'm like, please don't. But no, she's really excited. She's excited that I can showcase the Canadian side of me, I should say.
Do you have any goals personally for the Gold Cup? Like how many matches you want to play in and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think first I kind of just need to get into that environment from the first day, just kind of get familiarity with my coaches, my teammates on that front, because I leave, I think it's Friday, and then we just have a game the 27th. So that's pretty quick turnaround, I think. So the first and most important thing is just get like a relationship with who I'll be playing with next to, and etc. But obviously you want to play every game. I don't know if that's realistic in terms of what the coaches have in mind, but I feel like every player is going to want to play as many games as they can.
With Canada, you're playing with some of the best players really in the world, not just North America. Alfonso Davies, Jonathan David. How are you looking forward to kind of picking their brain and seeing how they work day to day?
Yeah, I mean, it's just more exposure. My time here, I've been learning after Larice, Julio Cascante, Dario, Bill. And now it's just learning more from, people who have other experiences as well, European experience. And just my whole biggest thing was, since I've been on the Timbers, is just be a sponge and learn as much as I can and try to implement that in my day-to-day playing ability. And I think it's helped me be, open to veteran leadership.
I think this is like the ultimate example of like dual citizenship for you specifically, just given not only that you were born here and have the Canadian connection, but U.S. military academy, playing for a different country. Like, how do you square that in your head? Just that whole
Yeah, I mean,
aspect of it?
I feel like from a West Point standpoint, I was, the first soccer player to get drafted out of West Point and go to the Major League Soccer. I know there's other sports my same graduation year, but for soccer specifically, it's kind of just like a first. So I'm just kind of, it's just another first, I guess. And but I think it's been pretty cool just navigating, like, you look at like you were asking what goals I had. Like a year ago, I didn't even know this was a possibility. So like you're always just kind of changing your goals and your outlook in, the short term, the long term, and yeah, just your end goals.
Any more questions in the room? We'll take questions online. Rocky, go ahead.
Hey Zach, how you doing, bro?
Good. How are you?
Good, awesome, man. Really love all the support you get, especially from your family, your mom Twiggy and your sisters, even recording the preseason games on their phone live. What's it like for them? And they kind of fly around everywhere. Do they support you even on your away games too?
Yeah, I mean, my dad's actually here right now. He's gonna go to the game tomorrow against Chicago. But yeah, I mean, I can't really ask for much more in terms of a support system. My mom, yeah, she thinks it's like her duty to like film those preseason games in Palm Springs for whatever reason. I don't know why.
It was
She has
fun.
like a little iPhone tripod thing that she holds, but no, I mean they're great. They support me in, whatever decision I choose. Obviously, she's really excited about Canada, but yeah, it's been a couple exciting weeks.
Yes, congratulations on that call up as well. And then so big news with Messi coming into the MLS, barring what happens at the end of this season, but next season, what's it going to be like maybe knowing that you could tackle the GOAT?
I joke around with Dario Zuparic because he tells like everyone every day that he's the best player in the league. Like, and I said it. But you guys know how his humor is. But I said, so how does it feel to be like the second best player in the league now? And he's like, well, for Messi, it's acceptable. But no, I mean, he's gonna bring a lot of exposure to the league. I think it's just evident with how many followers Inter Miami gained in a very short time span. It's funny just because, people who I didn't even think paid attention to soccer were calling me when the news came out, and they're like, wow, like Messi's coming to the MLS. And now it's just putting, not the average soccer fan, is putting people who don't even watch soccer on notice. And you know, that's the reason I think Messi's coming to, you know, help transform the league to the next level.
All right, we have
Awesome.
time for one more question, we'll go to Keith Byer.
Hi, Zach. Can you hear me okay?
Yep. How are you?
All right. Yeah, it's Keith from the radio broadcast. Congratulations. But when listening to you talk, you're the first player ever drafted out of West Point. Didn't even know the Canada thing was a possibility a year ago. So, you're a guy that's big on goals. Obviously, when you committed to West Point, the plan was probably not drafted Major League Soccer, Canada, and then maybe professional soccer for 10 years. So what was plan B? How did you end up at West Point?
Yeah, I mean, my time at West Point, it was just every year what came something different, like in terms of government's policies, like every single year they were changing something. Like when I first got there, it was, maybe it's a possibility for you to go pro. We don't know yet. You might have to serve 3 years active duty first. Then my second year, it was absolutely, because I don't remember his name obviously, but an Air Force football player was projected in the first round when I was a sophomore, and he was a senior at the time. And then the DOD went back completely and said, no, we're not letting him get drafted or go straight out. And then it's just a kind of like a never ending cycle of the government updating and amending their policies. And it wasn't until my second semester junior year where his name's Elijah Riley, he was on the football team. But for Army Navy, when you win in football, or the Commander-in-Chief trophy, so when you win against, for Army, it's if you beat Navy and Air Force, you go to the White House. And at the time it was President Trump, and he kind of just asked him, like, am I allowed to, or do you think it's possible that we go straight into the professional environment instead of serving active duty first and then serve after our playing careers? So it was really just and obviously that got approved since I'm here today, but it was just a never ending cycle of what the policies were at the time.
Yeah. Do you expect to serve then? Do you want to go back to that in some way?
Yeah, for sure. I actually have a friend here was 2 years older than me. He's visiting on top of my dad, actually, but he's still in the active duty Army. He just got back from a deployment, and my college roommate just got back from a deployment. He was here over last week and he came to the game, but it's just amazing being able to have, like, friends and support system from all over the country, all over the world. But yeah, definitely in the future plans of mine.
We're gonna wrap it
Great.
up.
Thanks, Zach.